What's up, y'all? It's me, Erica. What's going on? Oh, look at the sunrise. It's really pretty. Child, I really don't have nothing to talk about, y'all. I didn't watch nothing. I watched The Circle. I watched the end of The Circle, and then I watched some of Aaron Hernandez's story. I'm almost done with that. I watched an episode and a half. I need to watch that second episode again. I feel like I missed some stuff. That story is incredibly sad. I feel really sad for dude. Like, ugh. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and comment. Let the diva know you stopped by. Figure out something to talk about right now. It's sprinkling. I didn't watch Real Housewives of New Jersey. I should have watched that instead of watching Aaron Hernandez story. Did you guys watch any of that? That shit is crazy. Yeah, it's really weird. It's really, really weird. It gives you just don't know where people come from. You just don't know where people come from. You don't know what motivates them. You just don't know. You never freaking know. I was just listening to the people talk about him, and I'm just like, what the heck? I didn't know all of this stuff. You know, I knew that he was involved. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not. Let me finish watching it. I'll just have to finish. Let me just finish watching Aaron Hernandez's story, because that mess was crazy, child. I was like, what? I didn't know half of the stuff they was talking about. Not that I would know, but it's always good to kind of get a backstory. And his mama, child. It was just, I don't know. I have to watch it again. I gotta watch the second episode again, because child, y'all need to go watch Aaron Hernandez. If that story interests you at all, it just really gives you a backstory on this person. Whoever did this documentary, I don't know if it's a lot of recordings, his phone calls, like when he was in jail and he's calling his mom and calling his cousin and calling his wife, and I did not know. Now this part of the story, no, I did not know that he killed her sister's boyfriend. I was like, what? That's random. But I haven't gotten into the story because I still haven't figured out. I never knew what it was about. I knew of Aaron Hernandez, you know what I'm saying? I knew who he was, knew he's a football player, knew he was, and I was thinking that he was from a bad neighborhood. It wasn't his neighborhood, it was his home life. I mean, it was his home life that, like, kind of his trying to get away from his home life, especially after his dad died, that he really jumped into just this bad element of human beings, and just I just like it is amazing just what I've seen so far and what they have talked about so far of him being gay, and you know, and him having, you know, his teammate was somebody he was having sexual relationship with. I feel like it was more of a, like, these are two boys experimenting and figuring out and understanding, wow, this does feel good, and you know, and going that route. And then they had some other football player who was gay and talking about how, and that football player, he looked so familiar that I can't remember his name, but how he was gay, and how he tried to be the stereotypical straight man by being sloppy and fat, and just didn't care about things that he should care about. But it was really sad. And his cousin, who would not sell him out, child. She was dying of cancer, girl. Sis was dying of cancer. I don't know if she's still alive, but she would not give him up. And a car from another murder scene, another unsolved murder, was in her garage. So it was like Aaron Hernandez was going around with this. I think think it's a culmination from what I've saw. I haven't seen the last episode. I'm in the middle of the second episode. There's only 3 episodes, but from what I'm gathering is like they're trying to say that a lot of his home life and stifling who he was in terms of being gay really fucked with his emotions, and he did not know how to have control over his emotions. And you know, have you ever been around a person, a man, who is very preoccupied with homosexuality, a straight man, and very preoccupied with homosexuality, very always feel like he has to like take digs at gay people, and just really slight, and but it's almost like a preoccupation with, and it's like almost like it's a preoccupation with homosexuality, but then also like feeling like slightly bothered, but not too bothered to where people think that you're homophobic, but just like you say slick shit, but you know exactly who to say it to. Like he would just talk, he would say things, and it reminded me of somebody that I know that I always thought they were homophobic. Like I feel like when straight men, it's when there's a preoccupation with homosexuality and worried about gay people and just like this crazy, very slight obsession with gay men, I think they're gay and also homophobic, and that those two things can exist, right? You have a lot of what you call internalized homophobia, right? Where they don't like themselves and therefore they express it on the outside and act like, I should have went to Starbucks, but oh, it's no traffic. Shit, come on, bitch. That's what I was getting from it. I was getting from that he was really walking around with stifling himself, his sexuality, his emotions, and that he had a really bad temper. I'm wondering if he was physically abusive to his wife. I wonder if he was. And, you know, they were talking about, yeah, there's a lot of gay men, you know, they go ahead and have full families. They talked about beards and stuff like that. So I don't know what the angle was. I think that to me was the angle. A lot of people were not happy. I was reading online, which is what made me watch it, to be honest, is a lot of people were like, people seem like they're more mad with him being gay than they are with him being a fucking murderer. Like, what is the tea? And I was like, what do you mean being gay? And I was like, I didn't know Aaron Hernandez was gay. And so I was like, let me go watch and see what the hell they talking about. And honey, they are talking about him and he was in a sexual relationship with his teammate, and it was crazy. And his father was there, the teammate's father. They were like talking. They talked about Aaron Hernandez's father and how he was a man's man. They called that nigga the king. He was a man's man in the community. He was really hard on Aaron. Just very, you know, hard on him. That typical macho, you know, was a football player as well. Aaron Hernandez, I'm telling you, that motherfucker was big as hell. The way they were just showing footage of him, and I was just like, he was really talented. But it doesn't, I think what happens is you think, like, a lot of people were like, you know, I can't believe, see, I haven't watched the whole thing, but he's like, I can't believe that somebody who would have just access to this life would still be committing crimes like this. And it wasn't like he was committing crimes. This was somebody who was not only was it a crime what he was doing, but it was a result of him having a bad temper and thinking people were disrespecting him. And it was really weird. Like, he shot 2 people that had spilled a drink on him in the club, like followed them and rolled up on them motherfuckers and shot them. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? No kind of mental, no kind of therapy, no kind of anything. Lost his father at a, you know, in a transitional period, in a impressionable period, and then fell into, like, started hanging out with at his cousin's house. His cousin hung around with unsavory character, people of unsavory character, you know, and he just went down the wrong road. But this idea, I don't know if they're trying to put it together, is that he was gay or bisexual and hiding his attraction to men, and that fueled some of his anger towards people. And it was because you couldn't live. And that's why I said it's so important to allow people, just let people alone, let people be. And it's sad that he had to hide that part of himself to the point where he even had going to get married. And that, let me tell you something, there's so many men that are going through this, are living lies. They're not living their true self, who they are, and are not allowed to live their full selves. It's really sad, and it made me feel for him. I don't, of course, not agree with him going around, but you have to understand, like, you can understand where, okay, he has an issue with his homosexuality, and so he takes it out and he becomes angry, and it's like you can't even live your real self. It's really sad. I felt bad for him. And I haven't seen it. And then they're like, when he got in jail, he adapted so quickly, and they were like that it kind of made people nervous how quickly he adapted to being isolated, to being alone, to being in this cell. But then, you know, you hear him on the phone talking to his wife about somebody disrespecting him, and she's like, dude, you need to, first of all, stop letting people bother you. Stop thinking that you have something to prove to somebody. Stop thinking somebody's trying to disrespect you. Stop that. Like, and then at one point he was talking about the trans girls that were put into the male section of the prison, which that's a whole nother conversation. You leave people open for violence when you do that, and I think it's a lot of that they do it intentionally. They really do. Like, correction COs and stuff, they just as bad as the goddamn fucking criminals in jail. They really are. They really. I don't even want it. When I saw that Khalif Browder story, it made me so mad watching them correction officers do what they were doing. It just really pissed me off. But he on the phone, he was talking about, calling them things. Yeah, them things. She was like, she was like, what do you mean? Why are you calling them things? They're not things, they're people, just like you. What are you talking about? Those are human beings that you're calling things. Yeah, I know, but that's what we call them in here. She was like, don't do that. That's not right. She was even telling him, like, nigga, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, and I feel like when people have this, like, what are you even, for me, I feel like if you have a problem with anything, shut your damn mouth. Don't nobody give a damn. And if you talk, it's free speech. That's the, like Ari Lennox says, that's a speech you want people to hear you give, is hating somebody because of them simply existing. Shut your goddamn mouth. Don't nobody want to hear it. Don't nobody care about your hate. Don't nobody care about that. And I feel like that's the angle that they were trying to get, because he seemed like this. I know two guys who were very preoccupied with anything gay folk did. And I always, when in my mind, I had created a truth that said, when I see a man who's preoccupied with gay men and feel like he has to say something about homosexuality or has to bring it up all the time, but I feel like they're gay. Like, I feel like you have an attraction to men, that you are allowing society to dictate how you feel about them. So what other way to feel is to exhibit or to express hatred. That's how I feel. I really do. I don't give a damn. I'm telling you, when I see a man and you listen, it's like, what are you so worried about what this gay man is doing? Why do you have to point it out when you see a gay man or a trans woman, trans man. Why do you point it out? What is it? Why do you need to say anything? Shut up. But let me tell you something. When I see a man, I tell you, I know 2 guys like that. 2 guys that are like that. And I'm like, what are you so worried about? And in my mind, I'm looking like, you gay. So, honey, you need to come out so that you can drop all this hatred that you have, that you feel like you need to have for a certain group of people who are simply existing, and shut your damn mouth and live in your truth. And I think that's what they're trying to tie in, that this man was unable to live in his truth, and so he was just angry with everybody and would inflict violence on people he felt was disrespecting him. I was like, what is wrong with Aaron Hernandez? But then you look at his mom, his dad, his cousin, his family life was really jacked the fuck up. Like, and he even told his mom on the phone, he was like, you fucked me up. I mean, yelling at her. She was like, what are you talking? Like, you fucked me up. You did it. You did it. That you're the reason why I'm like this. What did you think I was going to turn into an angel? I was like, oh shit. He did. I was like, oh, it's so far, it's good. So far, it's good. And it really gives you an idea. Y'all tell me, y'all watching, y'all tell me what you feel like the angle was. Because I feel like the angle was, so that I've watched so far. Like I said, I'm giving you a disclaimer. I haven't watched all 3 episodes. I watched 1.5. So I'm halfway through. I feel like that's the angle they were taking. Like, this man was completely living a lie, and it just, you know, when you feel like, okay, because they had the one football player, he was like, I tried to do everything opposite of what to keep people from thinking that I was gay. He's a football player. And he said, so I gained weight. I think he said he didn't shower, but he just became this slovenly fat white dude because he didn't want anybody to assume that he was gay. So he became the opposite of what, in his mind, what he thought gay looked like. So he wanted to become the opposite of that. And I feel like a lot of the times the expression of masculinity, because that's a lot of people like toxic masculinity, it doesn't hurt women, just women. It hurts men. It hurts men just as much. Misogyny hurts men just as much as it does women. And for somebody to walk around and not be able to live in their truth, but then also adopt character attributes that speak to the antithesis of the behaviors that you believe a gay person has, that you have to now start either being fat and sloppy and just slovenly and just do not give a damn about your appearance, does not care, but then also being extra macho and then fighting anybody that comes close to you, or fighting anyone, or causing harm to someone who rubs up against you because, you know, they rubbed up against you. You might like the way that feels, and they may know that you like the way it feels, so I can't let you know that I'm gay because I'm a big bad football player. You understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? I feel like that's the angle that they're going. Like, his temper was bad, and you killing your friend? Like, what's wrong with you? And I still haven't figured out how that has all turned out. Don't tell me. But that's what I saw so far, child. You could watch this, a documentary, goddamn. It's like nothing you have ever probably haven't seen or read already. It's just having it all in one story. That's just wild to me. Yeah, child. And then The Circle. Now, The Circle ended last night. They dropped the last 4 episodes last night. Now, I didn't like the way it ended. I really didn't like the way it ended. I didn't like who won. I didn't like how they left so many people with the chance to win. I didn't like that. I think that they should have dwindled it down to 2 people. Like, they dwindled it down to 5 people, and then the highest ranking won. And I didn't like it. I think the person who won I don't think personality was authentic. I don't. I think it was a smooth talking salesman type of vibe that I was getting from this dude. I really, I didn't like it. I didn't like the way I didn't like, because I don't know why. I mean, you cannot say who deserves to win any money or anything like that, but I just don't think that. I think he was fake. The realest person on there was the one who could not stand social media. The one who could not stand social media, the one who did not like social media, the one who called social media social Medusa. Yeah, get over. Like, what's the point? Like, what is the fucking point? Let people over, you fucking bitch. I didn't like the way it ended. The 3 people that I wanted to win, they were in the bottom 5, and I don't think it should have been a bottom 5. I think it should have been a bottom 3, or, I mean, it doesn't matter anyway, but I think, if it was a bottom 3, then how would they rank it? Maybe that's what it is. How would they, so at least 3 people had to vote him top in order for him to win. It did have to be an odd number, though. It had to be an odd number. And if it was 3 and each of them picked someone different, then nobody would have won. You understand? So I get it. I've had to talk myself through it, but I didn't like it. I had to talk myself through it, though. But I thought it was weird. I didn't even like the way he came out, because they did, like, the last episode was almost like a reunion type of deal where they announced the winner and they had all of the people there. And then I found out that they're not filming in Chicago, that it is actually the UK. Somebody put it in the comments, and of course I did my Googles. And I believe that it's an apartment building in the UK where they film these kind of reality shows, because it's like nobody can possibly live in that apartment building. No one can possibly live in that apartment building. You don't have 5 people or however many people, how many was it? 12 people living in an apartment building. They never come out. They never see each other. I believe that apartment building is built for these types of reality shows because of the way the hallways had like fluorescent lights in them. I think it was built specifically for that. But they said it is not in Chicago. But even though they have, images of the Chicago skyline, but you do notice when they show the skyline, but when they take it to the picture, they never pan to the picture. It's just like a dropped-in picture of the actual apartment building, which is a cute apartment building. The apartments were decorated so cute. I loved the apartments, the way that they were really decorated, very cute. And they have all the cameras set up in each of the apartments, so you didn't need a cameraman. You didn't need cameramen at all. So, which is what I think they should do for a lot of these reality shows is, you don't want to put people out of work, but I just believe that you should allow cameras to be set up if they really want to catch stuff, and stop having somebody follow you around. Don't you get tired of that? I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine somebody sitting in my backseat with a camera like, yeah, so let me catch everything you have to talk about. I would rather have cameras set up because I feel like you get a more natural, whoop-de-bam when somebody forgets, because you forget that cameras are set up. You really do. People forget. And, as you can tell, they forget that people are standing around them with the fucking camera and a microphone. I can't wait to have some coffee. So I have my new class. I had their birthdays. I've got some Libras. We got a couple of Libras. I got a Taurus. I don't remember their birthday. I just remember somebody's birthday being May 6th, and then somebody else's birthday being in October. It's 3 people in October. 3 people in October. So we'll see. It is, we have a stay-at-home mom who is back in the workforce. She says she's just happy to talk to adults. She has 2 children. She hasn't worked in a long time, and she works down. I mean, she's here now, so she's happy about that. I don't think she's gonna stay. I just don't. I could tell by the way that when I give like this real long introduction, and I talk about the company, I talk about my history with the company, I talk about my experience and stuff like that, and then I bring in the leaders that they're going to be like their supervisors and stuff. I have them come in, give their history, talk about themselves, and blah blah blah. And I had to get over because this bus was trying to act funny, child. Oh my God. And so, what was I saying? So I could tell it was something about her. She wasn't responsive to the things that we were saying. She kept a stone face the entire time. Like she was just like, even like the little jokes, and even the little jokes that like the supervisor was making. I don't make too many jokes, but even talking about, I don't know, she just kept a stone face. I'll be watching everybody. I watch everybody, and we have one girl in there. She seemed like she was so tired. So at one point, in between breaks and stuff, she had her head down on the desk. I'm like, bitch, I don't understand. I just don't understand. I remember when when you go into a job new, I think a lot of it, excuse me, I think a lot of it has to do with entitlement. I think a lot of people are just entitled. I think a lot of us are entitled. Like, we feel entitled to things, and we do not think that things are temporary. We forget that things are temporary. And I feel like when you come into a job, I just feel like you just put your best foot forward. I don't know. And it's like, because so I was like, tell me about yourself. First I asked them, okay, I always ask them for their birthdays, for the birthday club. I don't give no goddamn birthday club. I don't have nothing to do with no birthday club, okay? So I'm like, what are your birthdays? I do send them up to the people that department that they're gonna work in. So I do send them up, but come on, what are you doing? So I get their birthdays, and I was like, I asked them, tell me a little bit about yourself. Give me a little your professional background. If you want to share a little bit of something personal about yourself. Some people typically say, oh, I'm from such and such, or I have 2 kids, or, or I'm working on this, or I'm in school right now. And I have one guy in there who is actually, he teaches English online, which I can't wait. I love English teachers. I love it. So he's like, yeah, I teach English online and stuff like that. So he's an online, I guess, teacher or whatever, which is kind of interesting. And, but when I get to this girl that had her head down, who's like so tired, I was like, so tell me about yourself. She was like, what do you want to know? She's a little butchy, she's a little butchy. I'm just going to say it. But she was like, what do you want to know? And I was like, girl, I just said what I want to know. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I said, tell me a little bit about yourself. And I feel like and I guess I am okay with talking to people. I have no problems talking to people. I have no problems getting up in front of people. I have no problems talking about, talking. If somebody says, tell me about yourself, I don't have any problems expressing that. And some people, I guess, they don't. They feel uncomfortable. Some people don't like to be put on the spot. But I left her for last because I can tell in her body language that it might not be something that she's used to. But honey, I don't know where you think you are. This is a job where you got to talk. You got to run your mouth. And what do you want to know? I was like, well, tell me a little about yourself. Like, what's your professional life? Where did you work before? What's your experience in? What industry did you work in? Did you work in the industry that we're in? How long? how did you, my thing is almost like a little baby interview. And in an interview, what are you supposed to do? Sell yourself. And I guess you figure you already in the training class, you ain't got to sell yourself. But honey, I don't know. My son had on my flip-flops, my slides. Anyways, I'm here. I gotta go. I'm gonna go get me some coffee and get myself together and ready. You guys have a wonderful day. Take care of each other. I guess we only talked about Aaron Hernandez in The Circle, but y'all go watch it and we can talk about it, and we can get down in the comments and we can talk about it, because I'm gonna finish watching it today. And that's it. Okay, take care of each other, protect your energy. We'll talk soon. Peace.